Today I'm sitting out in front of what is the largest semiconductor plant that Intel has ever constructed. This plant is going to be over 1,000 acres. We're talking an investment of $100 billion. It's actually Ohio's largest private sector investment in the history of the state. We're talking 20,000 workers are coming into the area just to construct the darn thing. So I've got microchips being built. I've got roads. I've got rain and snow. The one thing I don't have is a place to live. That's right, because this year in 2024, a lot of people are wondering what's going to happen with the housing market now that Intel is moving into Central Ohio. I can tell you, things are not looking great for Buckeye home buyers. So if you're thinking about moving to Ohio, maybe moving even for Intel, or if you just want to know what's happening in Central Ohio real estate, here we go today. I'm out here at the Intel site. We're going to talk 2024 housing market. So I downloaded the last 20 years of data from the Columbus Board of Realtors and the MLS, and then aggregated that and basically crunched the numbers and created some graphs that I think can help us understand what's happening and where things are going. Check this out. So let's start with median sale price. That's what everybody wants to know, right? Median price, where a price is going. Well, what you're seeing here is a chart over the last 20 years. And on the left-hand side is the price, the median sold price. And then on the bottom are the actual years. And what's really interesting about this chart is that the run-up in prices started way before Intel, the project was announced. I mean, the project here at Intel was announced in 2022 and in January of 22. And these prices started running up in around 2012 or so. So back in the year 2000, prices were under $125,000. And now year 2023, they're way over 300 grand. But that run up really started, you know, when the housing market was picking back up after the great financial crisis. But it was going up at almost a straight upwards trajectory before Intel was announced. And now that Intel's been announced, it's going up even steeper. So if this can tell you anything about where prices have came from over the last 10 years and to where they're going, it doesn't seem like they're, you know, leveling off or, you know, going sideways. I see upwards. Now, when you look at this chart, you may say to yourself, especially if you live like in California, Texas, or maybe on the East Coast or somewhere where you're used to high house prices, our median sale price now is just over 300 grand. In fact, I think in December, it actually was $297,000. So just below 300 grand. So house prices in Ohio are relatively affordable compared to the rest of the country, but that's a big problem for people here because you have individuals moving in from other areas of the country and they're willing to pay $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 for homes because they're used to $600, $700, $800 million homes. And because of that, no problem paying, you know, few $100,000 for a house in Ohio. Heck, they can even afford a few houses. I get a lot of questions from clients who ask me, is now the right time to buy, Jason? I think there's a crash coming. I just want to wait for a crash. And I show them this chart and say, hey, look at where the median sale price has gone over the past 10 years. And now you add in Intel, I'm not sure that you should wait because there's no sign I see that says house prices are going to drop, at least crash. And here's another chart that can help us understand where the real estate market is headed. These are active listings by year. And you can see on the left-hand side, these are the total active listings for that year. And then on the bottom are obviously the years. So as you go along, you can see back in the year 2000, we had about 100,000 listings that had hit the market. There were active listings if you add up all the active listings for the year. Now you look at it and it's woefully low. We're under 50,000 listings. In fact, you know, we've kind of stayed sideways since, you know, 2021. It's really not getting that much better. And so you couple this huge drop in inventory, and again, that drop in inventory happened way before Intel was announced. Again, happened right after 2010. It started to really drop down. So inventory was dropping historically in Ohio. Now it's dropping even faster. And with Intel here, it's not going to get much better. Remember, think about this. You've got 20,000 workers that are going to have to come in to support Intel's construction of the plant. On top of that, you've got a ton of companies that are going to move in that need to support Intel's business from a vendor side. So you've got different manufacturer of components and widgets and thingamabobs that are going to contribute to the Silicon Heartland. And because of that, more and more people are going to pour in the area. But again, no housing. Now let's look at new listings. These are the number of listings that are new to the market each year, not just what is on the market for sale. Same story here. Started where new listings were actually woefully low in 2000. They went up and skyrocketed up as prices started to come down. But then as prices escalated, new listings dropped, and they really haven't recovered, and they're almost historically bad when you look back through the chart. So prices have kept going up, active inventory hasn't recovered in 20 years, and new listings haven't recovered in 20 years. This all spells signs that the market's incredibly tight and constrained with supply, and prices are set to keep going up. To give you an idea of the scale of this project, I'm going to get out of my car really quick. Again, it is snowing, raining, kind of slushy mix out, kind of cold and windy. Audio is probably going to be horrible. May not be able to see much on my camera, but I'm here, so I'm going to do my best I can. I'm going to try to get up on the fence a little bit and hope I don't get arrested. I mean, it's an absolute war zone of construction. And I'm going to do my best to stretch my camera over the fence if I can. So the site's like 1,000 acres, and just a couple years ago, this was nothing but like farmland. I mean, just rural country roads, and now it's a construction war zone. Again, 20,000 workers are going to descend into this area to build this thing. All right, now we're going to look at the sold listings by year. On the left-hand side are the number of sold listings. On the bottom are the years. An exact same scenario regarding the overall trajectory of the chart. You had a lot of houses being sold in the early 2000s, but right after the GFC, they started to drop because people weren't buying, and then boom, it shot up again and really hasn't stopped until right after 2020. And now the number of sold listings is dropping substantially. It's dropping because there's no inventory. It's not dropping because there's no demand, because the price kept going up. So the price keeps going up because there's demand, but there's such a lack of active houses and active listings, there's nothing to choose from. So the number of sold listings has plummeted. So you got to ask yourself, what's going to happen now to this chart when you throw in even more demand? Well, unless we get a lot more supply, you're going to keep seeing the price go up probably. You could probably see the number of sold listings continue to go down, but there's no doubt that it's going to get worse unless we have new supply. Okay, so what does all this mean for 2024 and the housing market here in Central Ohio? Well, my call is an increase of about 5 to 10% in housing for 2024, and I think it could even be higher, a higher increase in 2025 and 2026, mainly because their trajectory of inventory is way down and headed down further, and their trajectory of prices has been going straight up almost over the past 20 years, certainly over the last 10 years. Now you add an Intel to the mix and this huge influx of demand, and I don't see how prices can't rapidly increase. Now, there could be a recession. We could still see that in the United States. Could be big job loss. We don't know what interest rates are going to do. However, if interest rates drop, that would just exacerbate the problem, and it would create more buying demand if interest rates happen to drop. So let's hope they don't drop too much, right? But yeah, I think demand is going to keep going up, and I think prices are going to continue to climb here in Central Ohio, unfortunately. And if you're a buyer, seller, or investor in real estate today, and you want to look at Central Ohio, or maybe you already play in this market, look at those charts that I showed on my screen, because there's no doubt the prices have continued to climb. And as an investor, that sometimes is a great thing. But you also have to take into account the fact that taxes and insurance here is rapidly increasing as well. Also, a lot of the buildings are older buildings, so the supply is older supply. Most of the apartments, certainly most of the big complexes, are from the 1970s, really nothing after that hardly. And the duplexes, triplexes, and quads, those are usually buildings built before 1920, it seems like. So a lot of the inventory here for investors is old inventory, so you got to be prepared to do some elbow grease and some value adds in order to get the asset you want. If you're a seller, if you own a house here and you're just thinking of selling, I would encourage you to think twice. I mean, we do need supply, so maybe I shouldn't talk people out of selling, but I mean, it's really the right thing to do, because I think this market is great for buy and hold. I see nothing but positive things on the horizon in the future for house prices. So if you own something, hang on to it if you can, and maybe even rent it out. It's really not that hard. Now, if you're a buyer of real estate and you just want to come in and buy a house, maybe a first-time house for your family, or if you're moving into the area, I would get with a real estate professional and understand exactly what you're looking for. Also, be willing to be flexible. Again, a lot of the inventory here are older homes, and they need some, repairs. They maybe need new windows, new siding, certainly new kitchens and bathrooms and stuff like that. So be willing to do some work to get the deal you want. If you're looking for a move-in ready house and you're looking for an affordable move-in ready house, you better get in line, and you better hunt hard and act quick. So get with me. I'm happy to help in any way I can with a buyer, seller, or investor, and do some ground floor work, on the job site work for you to find out what's happening. And anyway, I hope you got some value out of this video today. Again, like and subscribe, and do me a favor, leave a comment below. I'm gonna get back home out of this weather. Thanks for watching. See you on the next video.